Welcome back, folks. Dow Industrials right now down 234. We get the Nasdaq up 13. S&Ps are off 12. And folks, as you come over to our website at TFNN, okay, so this is the last day. You can take advantage of the Tiger Dollar sale. That's you can save up to you get up to a 40% bonus. And it's the last day that you can basically get the gold report at $97. So the way that the Tiger Dollar sale works, folks, is that the Tiger Dollar sales, you can purchase 500 Tiger Dollars, you get 600. That is a 20% bonus. You can purchase 1,000 and get 1,300, which is a 30% bonus, or you can purchase 1,500, which is the top amount you can purchase and get a $600 bonus, which is 2,100. So check it out. All of that will be down at the close of business today. That being said, what is not going to be down at the close of business today is our man, Mr. Basil Chapman. Basil is going to be doing a live multi-day webinar. Now, this webinar, folks, is going to be on July 14th. That's the first day. That's going to go from 9:30 to 4 in the afternoon. And then the second one, which is going to be the follow-up, is 2 weeks later, is going to go from 10 to noon. That webinar, you're going to get in a great webinar. You get his newsletter for a full month. Bottom line, that whole package together is only $295. So check it out on the top and the front page of TFNN under featured content. Basil Chapman, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. What's going on is we had a July 4th weekend just passed. Now we're into the substance of July. I usually like this first week, even though it's a shortened week. I always think of this as the first real week of July because things settle down by this coming Friday. So we should have directional, at least some projections that we can make. But I wanted to follow up because you were talking about the webinar, and I thought I'd refer you back to Friday at exactly this time.
Cool.
You remember I said in the Chapman Wave methodology, we're always looking for the lowest buy signal, and we want to count at least 4 higher peaks. And when you get to that fourth peak, alphabetized peak A, then peak B higher, peak C is higher, peak D, other things can happen. And we were at peak C, I said, in the 120-minute chart. And the way I count it, it has only a 30-minute window from 3:30 to 4 for the next candle. It's a little lopsided, but for some reason, it's always worked out very nicely. So I said to you, we're making a peak C. In the Chapman Wave methodology, we should get to a peak D. If at 3:31, the market starts to move higher, and we were right, if anyone can see right here, this is the 120-minute chart, we were making a lower high than that bar on the left. And I said, if at 3:31, if we start to rally, there's a really good chance we will go to a higher high. That'll make leg D, and I always say, at leg D, when you get to peak D, other things can happen. Well, look at this. We went to D before the close, and look at that sharp move down, and that's what we always look for at a peak D. Not that it happens every time, but that's what we're aware of. And I'm going to be teaching this technique as well as a technique that says you could get within 3 bars if you make a peak D and then go higher. You could get an instant restart with a new count. So I thought I'd just go through that. I like to do things live so that it's all very well looking back and say, oh, well, we picked the low on March the 23rd of last year, which we did. But it doesn't mean anything. It's what have you done for me now? So I thought I'd just talk about a couple of things just to demonstrate the techniques. So here I've got, this is the 2-minute chart. The 1-minute chart gave a peak D earlier on at about, it was just before 3 this afternoon. It was right there at 1435. That's, 235. And then it fell quite sharply. It coincided with a peak D in the 2-minute chart. I like that. So I'm going to be teaching how you can use different time frames. This could be a daily plus a weekly. It doesn't matter what it is because you want to look at a shorter time frame going to a longer time frame. If you get coincidental potential tops, you can see some kind of a pullback. I'm going to teach, I mentioned to you on Friday that there was a little green line that had held the price so nicely. This is the E-mini. The same E-mini, this is the S&P E-mini, this is the September contract, and it went from a buy signal to a green line. That green line held. It did go to that peak D. It did pull back. And then what happened is it continued rallying and rallying, went to a second peak D. That's the one that coincided with the one on the left. And it pulled back. And then I'll show how you can use simple just moving averages that you put on your chart. Everybody has this on their toolbox. Every platform has these tools. So you don't even need the MACD and the stochastic on-balance volume. You don't need any of that. There are some simple techniques. Here's this green line. It went pink just for a moment. It hit this extremely important moving average, this little pink line, and now it's still green and still rallying. So these are techniques that I teach I like to keep them as simple as possible. Then I add the different notation in the Chapman wave technique, but I want to keep it to a core so that people can understand it based on their own methodology. And what I really like is that when they can take their methodology, add a little bit of a nuance that they've learned, and this is a fantastic time to do. It's a full day, and then 2 weeks they can start sending me charts over those 2 weeks to discuss what they've been learning, what they're practicing, what's working, what's not, and then we come back for a 2-hour live session 2 weeks later, and we go through everything in great detail. So, and they're getting my newsletter, so it's a fantastic bargain. If they can use Tiger dollars, I mean, you couldn't even go out to eat for the price that I'm charging for the whole thing. So I love the teaching aspect. I told you when we met back in 2002, I think it was, and I was sitting there with you in the New Hampshire office, and I was showing you the technique. I said to you, and you invited me to come to TFN, and I said, if it's an educational platform as well as showing positions, etc., I'm all in. And as I've always done here, I love the educational part. You've got such fantastic programming all day here with your hosts. So I love to be an additional, person that's there. So this is an educational opportunity for very little cost. It's more time that you're using, and it's archived, so you can find your own time. You don't have to be. Obviously, it's great if you're there live. You'll ask me questions. I can deal with it right away. But it's archived. You can go over it as many times as you want to get all these techniques, and then email me, and I'll always answer back. So.
And it's very easy to get into, folks. Come over to our website at TFNN. You're going to see it right under featured content, right on the front page. As Basil just said, you get his newsletter for a month. You're going to get a full day, which is going to be on the July 14th. Great webinar. 2 weeks, you just email him, Basil, your charts. He'll mark them up. He'll send them back to you. Another update for 2 full hours. Great. It's a great setup, folks. And if you've never been to one of Basil's workshops, he does an outstanding job. Anything that you want answered is going to be answered. It's pretty cool. And you're going to ride that wave.
Absolutely.
And that wave has been riding, man.
What's interesting, Tom, there's a discovery I made years ago. I call it the Chapman wave Roman candle. When it occurs at the top, you've got to be kind of careful. And it's occurring today, even though it's a leg C and it's probably going to be a peak C at the end of the day. What's exciting about this is if the Dow over the next 2 days trades for 2 hours below 34,480, you've got to be a bit careful because it could pull back and retest today's low. If at any point it closes above 34,821, that's really positive.
Pretty cool. I like it. Listen, you have a great one, safe one, and we look forward to the show tomorrow, Basil.
Thank you very much, Tom. Have a great day.
Thank you. Stay right there, folks. Come right back.